time is gone and my time has come. Oh, the time is gone and I tried my best. Oh, I tried my best. I tried my best. Tried my best to be real.
Good morning, Vietnam. Are we here? Wait, I'm like way back. I'm centered up good. Morning, everybody. This is Morning Extra. I'm your host, Uncle Warren, and it is Monday. First, I want to get the shout outs out of the way. Willie Bragg with 10 smackers to the show. Thanks, Buddy Roll. I encourage everyone else to help alternative voices all we can. The corporate media's narrative is quite destructive. Yes, sir. You are quite right there, mon ami. Willie's in the house. We got Rick. Rick Solace about to head off to hell for another day in the salt mines. Kelly M. It's even too early for Bloody Marys for me, maybe. It's brunch somewhere. Go ahead, knock yourself out, dog. We got Sherry Wise in the house. What's up, Sherry? Good to see you. And Zacharoni Pizza. Good morning to you as well. So, and if anybody was wondering who the band is in the intro, that's Crocus. The focus is on the Crocus. That's just a little hidden gem for the kiddies, so that they can enjoy that. What happened? I have no idea. I didn't get much sleep last night, and I got up this morning, and I'm always nervous before these shows because it's not the nervousness of talking to people. I can talk to people all day long. It's just you're at the mercy of this equipment. Like, I accidentally fired off the show like 10 minutes till. Hey, Bella, good to see you. Coming in low. Maybe it helps if I had the fucking mic in front of me. Hello, my sweet thing. Oh, it's like a midnight tribble. Shh, don't tell. Thanks, Rick. I pushed this thing aside to go make tinkle a while ago, and I forgot to put it back. Okay, so are we back on track here? There you go. Thanks, Bella. Well, I didn't say anything important anyway. All I was saying was, I know, right? There you go, Monday Man. It's all, yeah, I know, right? Although last Monday, the show started off a little bit better, but I did look like I was Casper the Friendly Ghost. So we fixed the camera issues. Now we're always dealing with the audio issues, because that's the bane of our existence here at Morning Extra. Rick said he stubbed his toe this morning too. I know, right? You know what's worse though? If you stub your toe on a cold morning, and it's like it doesn't hurt for like maybe like a second and a half, but then right after that second and a half, whoa, you're like, God, you feel like you broke all your toes. You're like, what the fuck just happened? Anyway, we'll get the promos out of the way first. I'm not quite sure who else has a show on today. I know Around the World, Dee and Friends tonight. I think 9 p.m. Eastern. I could be wrong, but it's the same. She does it every evening. Good show. And coming up Wednesday on the show, we will have reaction from George Galloway about his loss on July 4th. For the Parliament seat in Rochdale. So we'll get a response from him coming up Wednesday. Let's get to the news today. Speaking of Rick and hell, Texas is about to get hit. Well, actually, I have been hit. I believe the hurricane has made landfall around Corpus Christi. This is from 10 Tampa Bay Hurricane Headquarters. Let's see what they have to say about what's going on. Hopefully this works. There we go. And there we go.
All right, 524, your Hurricane Headquarters. I'm in what is 3 hours? Halfway across the Atlantic, I guess. Hurricane Beryl, 80-mile-per-hour winds. So this came off of the Yucatan with winds at about 60 miles per hour late Friday night into Saturday. And now it's strengthened all the way back up to 80-mile-per-hour winds, still Cat 1 on the hurricane, Saffir-Simpson scale. But you can see it's now just made landfall near Matagorda, Texas. There's the beach right out there. There's not a whole lot out there. Matagorda is on not the Barrier Island side, but right here. And then, of course, you can see where Houston and Galveston are. That's where all the heavy rainfall is. This is going to be the worst weather that they get, is the north and northeast side of it. There's a tornado threat, Houston, Galveston. That'll go up through Cameron all the way up into parts of Louisiana. The forecast track does weaken it, of course. This is 1 o'clock today, but that's what you expect. Look how far inland the tropical storm warnings go. So they're expecting winds in the 50s and 60s with gusts in the 70s for those areas. But we're thinking gusts right along the coast will be generally in the 90-mile-per-hour range. And the forecast track basically says it goes right up along and west of the Mississippi River.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's check in on the latest, see where this thing is now. Let's check it out. Let's see if this works. We're gonna get in here. Yeah. So this is out of WWL in New Orleans. So basically they've been running this graphic most of the morning. So you see where Beryl is entering Texas down on the Gulf Coast there. And as it moves inland, it looks like it's going to be cutting right through the middle of the country. So what does that mean? Well, first off, you're not out of the woods, right? So it looks like Texas is going to be dealing with a decent amount of flooding around there because of the storm surge that's coming in too. And you also and you may not know this. I know a lot about hurricanes because I've lived through several, and like I said, I was raised by meteorologists who took me in and fed me and scolded me when I was bad. But that's a story for another day. But on the northeast side of a hurricane is where you're going to find your strongest winds, right? And it has to do with it said something like forward winds and some different kind of winds in the atmosphere where that particular side of the hurricane is just a lot of devastation. And you're going to see a lot of rainfall, a lot of wind in that area. So like I said, it's probably going to be down to tropical storm force here shortly, but still, there's a lot of wind and a lot of rain. So if you're in a low-lying area and that's the shit's heading your way, you should probably get out. Find a place to make sure you got plenty of drinking water. Some of the reports coming out of Texas, there was like close to like 250,000 people without power, maybe even more now. That may be just an old number. So. And so the rest of the country will be getting that as well. So hunker down. If you're in a safe spot, don't go anywhere. If you got a generator, one of those, you get those hand crank radios too, right? The hand crank radios, the hand crank flashlights, where you don't need batteries. Those are invaluable. They're like priceless in a hurricane, especially when you're trying to find out information. When the power's out, usually the only thing you're going to get is radio, right? So just if you're in those areas, be safe. Rick, I hope you're safe. Because it looks like it was pummeling Houston pretty good too. So, all right. So we'll probably on Wednesday, we'll see what damage was done down there, what fucked up efforts the government is going to try to do to help those people, because they always fuck it up every single goddamn time. So good luck to you guys down there. Coming up now, we're getting into some world news, more elections over the weekend, and the French told the far right to stick it in their croissant, which is always a nice thing. With a little butter, maybe some cheese. French left says ready to govern as country faces hung parliament. Giggity. After winning a plurality in the National Assembly, France's left-wing coalition plans to name a PM candidate this week. This is founder of France's Unbowed Party, Jean-Luc Mélenchon. He's watching the results from the second round of France's legislative elections. They had a left-wing alliance. It was just a coalition of parties, of left-wing parties that normally doesn't work together, and they banded together to win, to fight. They fought back the liberals with Macron, and they fought back Le Pen's hardliners. So good for them. France's left-wing leader says the left is ready to govern after emerging as the largest political bloc in parliament, but the country faces a political deadlock as no party won a clear majority. The new Popular Front coalition led by Mélenchon and its allies won a plurality in France's National Assembly in the second round of the parliamentary elections on Sunday, taking 187 seats in the 577-seat National Assembly. That's according to Interior Ministry figures. The result delivered a blow to Palestine. Actually, it helped Palestine, if you think about it. The result delivered a blow to President Emmanuel Macron, whose centrist Ensemble alliance managed to win 159 seats. Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally and its allies surprisingly finished third with 142 seats, despite a strong first-round showing. So what it turns out to be is Le Pen's crew pretty much won all the rural areas of France, and the left won the cities. I think they won Paris and some of the bigger cities too. Kind of similar here. You're going to have your conservatives are going to sweep up in the in the rural areas here, and the liberals usually take the cities. With none of the top three alliances winning an outright majority of 289 seats needed to form a government, the Eurozone's second largest economy faces a hung parliament, uncharted territory in its modern age. This may push Macron to either try to build a fragile coalition with moderates from the left and right, or invite the left-wing NFP camp to lead the government. He may also resort to a technocratic government with no political affiliation to handle day-to-day affairs. So, the fragmented results are set to weaken France's role in the European Union and farther afield and make it hard for anyone to push through a domestic agenda. Yeah, so France has got some shit they're dealing with. So, but that's the thing. This kind of change is messy at first, right? They're going to be. But it's good to see. I mean, the French in recent years have just been very inspirational, right? You see them like protesting every weekend, even for the slightest bullshit that their government does. And over here, we're funding genocide, and that's still cars in the streets and still people doing their thing. Another election going on this week. Well, over the last few days was in Iran. As you know, their president killed in a helicopter accident allegedly, as it were. So they had to elect a new president, and this is who they have now. So Reformist wins in Iran. This is from antiwar.com. The other was from Al Jazeera online too. So trying to do independent and non-mainstream media sources. So if you're not a fan of Al Jazeera, well, we're always looking for new independent news sources. So if you have any ideas of any other people, I like all the usuals, Vanessa Beeley, and all these independent reporters and journalists doing their thing. There's always more that are not being heard from. So if you know some really good journalists, let me know, and we will share their stories as well. So, like I said, Reformist wins in Iran, and this is from Trita Parsi at antiwar.com. What are the implications for the world? All indications are that the reformist candidate, Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian, has won the presidential snap elections in Iran and defeated ultra-hardliner Saeed Jalili. What does this mean for Iran, its foreign policy, and U.S.-Iran relations? A lot of people were thinking about that. Like, their president was killed, and you would assume like some sort of kind of chaos might ensue. And from our three-letter agency buddies kind of poking that along, you know how that goes. But apparently this was, the turnout appears to have been around 50%, which is an increase over both the first round at 39% and the 2021 elections at 47%. But this is still very low for Iran, whose participation often has been above 70%. So what does that mean? I don't know about an analysis there, but, you know, maybe people in Iran are just as skeptical and cynical about their politicians as we are. It's particularly noteworthy that participation amongst conservatives has been at an all-time low. Usually with participation this low, the conservative candidate would have won, but not this time. We're seeing clear signs that unhappiness, if not resentment, with the current system is not limited to non-conservative circles. For many, this is perhaps the best outcome. On the one hand, the conservative candidate was defeated. On the other, it was with such a low turnout that it sends a clear warning to the system. And that's what we were trying to tell people here. Like, you know, if you participate in this voting shams that's going on, you know, except on the local and state levels where you got state ballot initiatives, but on the national level, you're just fooling yourself, just trying to make yourself feel better. Given that Pezeshkian likely will bring back many foreign policy hands from the Rouhani team, the group that negotiated the JCPOA, some important changes in Iran's foreign policy are likely. Pezeshkian spoke strongly about the need for Iran to resolve its tensions with the West. Moreover, he called for direct negotiations rather than talks through mediators. Pezeshkian made this call within the context of Trump potentially becoming the next president of the United States. This would be a significant shift if the Iranians agreed to directly engage with the U.S., even with Trump as president. So interesting development there. A lot of people asking, well, is this guy, Pezeshkian, is he going to be a puppet of the West, right? And that was one of the main concerns going into this election, seeing that the particular way that their former president was killed, you do have to ask hard questions like that. So, but yeah, so that's the election beat, but now we're going to switch to some funny doings over there in Germany. Okay. It's wow, this is fun. So this is from Mint Press News. If you're not following them on Twitter, they're a good follow. Germany announced a new citizenship law requiring applicants to declare Israel's right to exist. Germany's new citizenship law, reflecting a shift in citizenship requirements. This move, part of a broader citizenship overhaul, underscores Germany's commitment to its values, including its historical responsibility towards Judaism. The new test includes questions on anti-Semitism, gender equality, and democracy. Critics argue that this law silences legitimate criticism of Israel. Meanwhile, anti-Semitic incidents in Germany have surged, leading to increased government action against anti-Zionist groups. German citizens and rights groups say the law is a way to silence legitimate criticism in Israel. Anti-Semitic acts in Germany surged by 83% in 2023. Many, if not most of them, are simply criticism of Israel. Recent cultural events in Germany have faced cancellations over pro-Palestinian stances, raising concerns about censorship. So that's Germany. You know, yeah, Homer, we are the land of chocolate. And apparently shitlib ideas and us, you know, kind of missing those Nazi days. Hey, Hey, Colonel Klink. Germany responded, I know nothing. And speaking of their new pals, this is also from antiwar.com. A lot of these are going to be from antiwar.com. And if you're not checking them out on antiwar.com, they're also on Twitter too, posting every day news that you're not going to see on the mainstream media and probably some other places in independent media too. So reports confirms Israel ordered the Hannibal Directive during the October 7th response. The directive means the Israeli military could use any means to prevent Israelis from being taken captive, even if it puts their life in danger, right? So that's the Hannibal Directive. It's like, no prisoners, we just kill. A report published by the Israeli newspaper Haaretz on Sunday confirmed that the Israeli military implemented a secretive procedure known as the Hannibal Directive during the response to the October 7th Hamas attacks on southern Israel. The directive allows Israeli forces to prevent Israelis from being taken hostage, even if that means putting their lives in danger. The directive had historically only applied to soldiers, but was also used on Israeli civilians during the October 7th response. A quote, very senior, quote, source in the Israeli Defense Forces confirmed to Haaretz that the Hannibal Directive was ordered on October 7th, right? They were saying, oh, look at what Hamas did. And it was like, no, the majority of the deaths, it was the IDF, because of they had the Hannibal Directive. The report also cited documents and testimonies from soldiers and officers and found that the order was given multiple times throughout the day. One of the orders came at 11:22 a.m., hours into the Hamas attack, which said, quote, not a single vehicle can return to Gaza, unquote. The report said that at this point in the attack, quote, the IDF was not aware of the extent of kidnapping along the Gaza border, but it did know that many people were involved. Thus, it was entirely clear what that message meant and what the fate of some of the kidnapped people would be. And of course, there's been other evidence of Israeli forces implementing the Hannibal Directive, including a January report from the Israeli news site. And yet that the report said that about 70 vehicles were destroyed by the Israeli military, and they were on their way back to Gaza. Many of the cars were likely carrying Israeli captives. So, interesting, because it seems like everybody and their mom knows what the Hannibal Directive is. But a couple of weeks ago, the spokesperson for the State Department, right, they should probably know a little something about Israel. I know this is. I thought this was a fun little flashback. This is from Decensored News, and incredible. This is, what was this from? June 25th. So it says, in response to questioning by Sam Husseini about Israel's Hannibal Directive, particularly regarding its use on October 7th and or against U.S. citizens, Miller claims, this is the spokesperson here, Miller. I forgot his first name. Snake Man? I can't remember. Quote, I am not familiar in any way with either that supposed directive or those reports. And Husseini's like, you never heard of the Hannibal Directive? This is fun.
You talk about the hostages. Israel has a Hannibal Directive in which it has orders in place to kill at least its own soldiers, lest they fall into the hands of Palestinian groups. And there's substantial reporting that in fact, was utilized on October 7th, not just against Israeli soldiers, but against civilians. Are we not now in a situation where Israel may be using the Hannibal Directive, not just on Israelis, civilians and military, but on U.S. citizens and other foreign nationals?
So I am not familiar in any way with either that supposed directive or those reports. And so
you've never heard of the Hannibal?
Certainly would not want to comment on it.
You've never heard
Bullshit! Bullshit!
of the Hannibal
John,
Directive?
do you want to? I thought you wanted to go out of the region.
Sure. Julian Assange.
Yeah.
And then they cut it off, of course. Yeah, so I mean, how stupid do they think we are? Really? Come on. You know, we got magic picture boxes tells us all the shit that's going on over there. You know, even my dumb redneck ass knows what the fucking Hannibal Directive is. But great work there, Sam Husseini. Check out his work. He's another one of those independent journalists that does good work. Support him if you can. I know everybody's broke, but, you know, if you got a little extra change, throw it his way. He's doing good work for us. But wait, there's more. Israel doing its thing. Again, Dave DeCamp. They worked Dave DeCamp to death this weekend. He was like, antiwar.com was the Dave DeCamp show. Love that guy. And he's got a antiwar.com, their channel on YouTube. Make sure they're checking him out. Conflict of Interest too, with the Libertarian Institute, and Kyle Lanzalone. They do great work over there. Very unbiased reporting and great indie information. So Netanyahu, Bibi, sabotaging the deal with Hamas by issuing list of demands. An Israeli official says the prime minister is working to torpedo the chances of an agreement. Why does Bibi sound like Count Chocula? The guy's from like Delaware, isn't he? Or some sort of Maryland? Some shit, I forgot. Anyway, so Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued a list of demands for a potential hostage deal ahead of more indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas, a move seen by mediators and Israeli officials as an attempt to sabotage the chances of an agreement. Netanyahu's list of demands, which he called, quote, non-negotiable, included a condition that Israel would be allowed to resume military operations, quote, until all the objectives of the war have been achieved, quote unquote, until every last person is dead. Netanyahu's objectives included the eradication of Hamas, a goal the Israeli military has said is not realistic. Hamas's primary condition for a deal is a permanent ceasefire, and Netanyahu's insistence on having the ability to resume his genocidal war appears to be the main obstacle. The Israeli leaders' repeated public comments about the issue led Hamas to ask for stronger guarantees during previous negotiations. Oh, those guarantees. You mean like the guarantees that Russia got back in 2014 about Ukraine not joining NATO and all that shit? Yeah, that kind of went tits up, right? According to media reports, Hamas has softened its stance a bit by not asking for Israel to commit to a permanent ceasefire right away. However, the Palestinian group is asking mediators to provide written guarantees that negotiations for a permanent truce will continue once the first phase of the deal goes into effect. And Israeli Netanyahu, this is Netanyahu's demands here. So any deal will allow Israel to resume fighting until all of the objectives of the war have been achieved. There will be no smuggling of weapons to Hamas from Egypt to the Gaza border. There will be no return of thousands of armed terrorists to the northern Gaza Strip. Israel will maximize the number of living hostages who will be released from Hamas captivity. One Israeli security official said Bibi pretends that he wants a deal, but is working to torpedo it. Gee, endless war? Who'd have thunk it? Right? Not only do you eradicate the people that you stole their land from, you also get to be part of the biggest weapons deals in history. So congratulations, you fuckers. A lot of world news today. The hurricane was just kind of like the big national thing, but I didn't really see anything. Maybe I missed something. If I did, I apologize. But it just seemed like the world stuff seemed a lot more important to talk about. So as we go over to Syria, Turkish President Erdogan says he plans to invite Syria's Assad to Turkey for normalization talks. The Assad government's position is that any deal to restore ties with Turkey must include a Turkish withdrawal from northern Syria. On Sunday, Turkish President, this is antiwarnews.com too, by Dave DeCamp. The Turkish president said he plans to invite Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to Turkey for talks on potentially restoring ties. We will extend our invitation to Assad. With this invitation, we want to restore Turkey-Syria relations to the same level as in the past. Our invitation may be extended at any time, the Turkish leader said, according to Reuters. We've now arrived at a point where if Bashar Assad takes a step towards improving relationship with Turkey, we will also show that approach towards him. So you're starting to see how the West has pissed off all these people, and you're starting to see these other like collaborations and unions and stuff of other countries, and resolving their issues because of the bigger threat. Erdogan made similar comments a few days earlier and said he wants Russian President Vladimir Putin to join the talks. If Mr. Putin can visit Turkey, this could be the beginning of a new process. All the years that have passed in Syria have clearly shown everyone that a permanent solution mechanism must be established. So that's what's going on over there in Syria. And of course, the United States has to always be the turd floating in the punch bowl. So again, from antiwar.com, U.S. official says there's no plans to withdraw from Syria. State Department officials told Rudaw that the U.S. has no plans to withdraw its troops from Syria. The U.S. has about 900 troops in eastern Syria and backs the Kurdish-led SDF, allowing Washington to control and occupy about 1/3 of the country's territory. The U.S. claims the occupation is about fighting ISIS remnants that they probably created, but the continued U.S. presence is more about keeping Damascus and its ally Iran out of the area and controlling oil resources. Of course, it's all about the oil. The occupation is also part of the economic campaign against government-controlled Syria, which includes crippling sanctions that are specifically designed to prevent the country's reconstruction, right? Ethan Goldrich, Assistant Deputy Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs, said the U.S. wouldn't leave Syria until its, quote, mission was completed, referring to the anti-ISIS operations. Does that sound familiar? We will not stop until we have completed our mission. We're not planning to withdraw from Syria. We're planning to continue and complete our mission to prevent a resurgence of ISIS and to counter ISIS and to work with our partners, Goldrich told Rudaw on Wednesday. And that's the whole, three-card Monte thing there. The U.S. is propping up ISIS. And that's the whole point. And that's we can't leave Syria, because Boogeyman gonna get us and take away our ice creams and shits and stuff. Terrible, terrible, terrible. He's from Pennsylvania? Okay. I knew he was somewhere on the East Coast. I knew BB was from Pennsylvania. I knew he was on the East Coast. I didn't know it was Pennsylvania. He does kind of sound like Rocky, the boxer. Come, fisticuffs. I am BB. I will fight you. Oh, no hitting back. That is not fair. Only I can hit you. That is the Israeli way. Salt and pepper. Delightful. I was going to do this last Friday, but I didn't really think it would be worth it. But I don't know. This is just kind of like your, what do we call this? This is your propaganda watch. So, and this is from N-Wokeness. I don't know what you feel about N-Wokeness. If they're your bag, whatever. If not, whatever. But, let's see here. There we go. So Huffington Post says the Biden campaign should deceive the public into thinking Biden is healthy by using AI. So, they actually published this. So they said it's time for the Biden campaign to embrace AI. Joe Biden is old and has had a lifelong stutter. Really? Stutter? This is how bad the Huffington Post has gotten. I remember, back in the day, they were, somewhat decent, and now it's just, awful. He acknowledged in a fiery rally following his debate performance, and yes, I am reading this sarcastically. I may not walk as easily and talk as smoothly as you used to. This was impeded by his ability to communicate with mass audiences with consistent success. AI augmentations and video renderings could serve to smooth out those bumps while allowing the Biden campaign to effectively disseminate true information about the state of our democracy and the Biden administration's accomplishments. The president has limited time to campaign, as he also focuses on running the country, and the AI would be a cost-effective and efficient way to communicate his message personally and directly to voters. There you go. If they're thinking about it, you know they're going to do it. They're doing something. Apparently they used Biden AI. Did you hear him on Morning Joe this morning? No, I didn't hear him on Morning Joe. I heard that Morning Joe was turned on him too after he was sucking his dick last week. Remember that? He was like, Joe Biden, he's the sharpest attack, and all this stuff. And he had that fucking hair. Joe Scarborough's hair, man. I don't know what that shit is. Shit looks like it's out of a 50s cartoon. Anywho. So when I say we have to be diligent in our media watching, right? It's stuff like this, right? Like some of your normie friends or family will probably see this and go, hey, that's a good idea, right? Because he is a truth teller, but he's just having difficulty telling the truth. So it's not like cheating, right? It's not like we're faking it, but, but he gets to tell the truth better than... I swear to God, I am waiting for Biden to say, we wore onions on our belt. It was the fashion at the time. If he does that, then the Abe Simpson transformation is complete. Yeah. So there you go. Be on the lookout. And that's one thing you have to worry about that too, right? Especially now, because, some of the AI video looks kind of weird, kind of nightmarish, dystopian with like people with 8 fingers. And then, yeah, it's just like crazy. But like all technology, the shit's going to get better, right? I think the audio, the music, not the music, voice. They're already copying voice very well. AI is learning how to do these voices. And we're going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to tell the truth from fiction. Bella. Note seen in local bookshop. Please note, the dystopian fiction section has been moved to current affairs. Thank you. Exactly. Willie says, I am the left-wing version of the right-wing uncle that ruins Thanksgiving at family reunions with my polarized politics. But Willie, you don't have polarized politics. It's more, you still have an open mind, but you're an old cat like me. You know what you know by now, and you learned that shit a long time ago. And I know as much as you love your family and your friends, you got to bug the shit out of them about this. You got to tell them, look, man, you got to get out of this. And you got to tell your friends and your other family members that, they get them to pass it along. That's the thing. You got to need to spread the word that fuckery is afoot. And, we could be seeing ads with Joe Biden like he's like, hey, how everybody doing? And it's all AI, or even Trump. Trump's not immune to that shit too. Trump's not exactly a spring chicken. I mean, yeah, he's got more of his shit together, but, that's not saying much compared to Biden. I live in the South and I'm a socialist. It comes with the territory. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I grew up in Mississippi. It was hard being a leftist down there. You almost had to be in the closet, And the Democrats that they have in the South are just watered down Republicans. That's probably how the Democratic Party itself probably got that way. It was because it was just a bunch of weak ass Republicans who have some feelings, and they went to the Democratic Party, and then they ended up fucking that up. So, but you know, we can't leave on a dour note like this. When I was doing my investigations yesterday, trying to find news, I found this, and a lot of you are not. Some of you youngsters are not going to get this. Maybe the reference, but at this point, I don't really care. It turns out that the Prime Minister of Poland, this guy, he looks like Niles and Fraser Crane got caught in the same transporter beam and rematerialized as Malcolm McDowell in 1994. So all you OGs who know all three of those names, you're welcome. Delicious. He does, right? Niles. I mean, where's the dog? Where's Dad? Where's Daphne? Sorry, I used to like Frasier because it was just fun making fun of these uppity snoots that just did dumb shit. I didn't know he was actually a conservative, which is kind of wild. I mean, he's a good actor. He plays shitlib pretty well. So that's Kelsey Grammer, by the way, who plays Frasier. And anyway, I guess we can end that on a nice little happy note today. Like I said, we got Around the World D and Friends tonight. Don't forget on Wednesday, we'll have more news. Plus, we'll have the George Galloway reaction to his loss in the elections last week in the UK. So, trying to think of something else. Anybody else? If you got anything, say it now. Speak now, forever hold your peace. By the power invested in me in this whiskey bottle and my slowly descending testicles, I pronounce you man and wife. You can go have some nice sexy time now. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace out and smell you later.
This is City Alpha 5! Woo! Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs. Oh my. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but I got you pegged. But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Scrambled eggs all over my face. What is a boy to do? Frasier has left the building.
They say time is the fire in which we burn.